Please join me in standing, everyone, as I welcome His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Republic of Guyana.
Thank you very much, very kindly. Please. Distinguished members of Cabinet, our Prime Minister, members of the diplomatic community, importantly, members of the media, although I don't know how we define the media today, I would be officially presenting to my colleagues in CARICOM at the next meeting a paper that I want to develop on the evolving definition of the media. Today's topic points to the evolving construct of the media, which is changing the evolving role of the media. And if fundamentally we have not evolved in how the media is defined, then we will not understand how the media is designed. And who will be designing this media and to what purpose? One of the great things about the media in Guyana is that we have a very young, vibrant media family. And I think this gives you an excellent opportunity to be part of a new global revolution on redefining what constitutes the media. So today I just want us to expand our thinking process a bit about the evolution of this loose term today that is defined as the media. I want to first of all congratulate all of you for the tremendously hard work you do in media. However it's defined, we will decide at the end of today whether we want to be part of this conversation on the definition. But I want to thank all of you for the work that you do. I want to thank all the journalists globally who are working tirelessly to bring the expressions of people, and I'm going to carefully choose my phrase, bringing the expressions of people alive. What constitutes expression and what drives that expression is also a debate. Because you can have journalists who expressly and clearly would portray a regime that another journalist would say is a dictatorship, is a democracy. So it's what expression, who is bringing life to that expression, and what constitute the fundamental pillars of that expression. These are all important things that this changing world. And we must acknowledge that the world is in a reset mode. If we cannot acknowledge together today that the global community is in reset mode, then we are going to make a fundamental mistake. The world is at reset now. And everything that we do must be captured in this reset mode. And if we don't understand this reset mode and philosophy, then we will be left far behind. So, who constitute the media? Historically, we had a clear definition. But if media is what gives news and information, then reach, responsibility, reliability, and relevance are important. So who is more relevant? Someone who can meet 300 million people in a second, or someone that will meet 3,000 persons in a day? Very important question. Because the one who might be reaching 300 million might have reach, but are they responsible and reliable? So how do we manage in this environment when the speed, accuracy, reliability, and relevance go at odds with each other? If you look at any developing or developed society, and they want to find who would better position my message, what do they look for? Reach? They look for how many persons you have under your account. They look for influencers, who you influence, not how you influence. So the ethics of the question is put on the back burner here. The ethics of the question is put on the back burner because reach, influence, and speed of doing it is now the critical mask that people are attached to. And here lies the danger. Tremendous danger. Especially when you add AI and the power of AI to that formula. Because it does not require intellectualism or professionalism to define the message anymore. You have the reach, you have the capability and capacity, you then have the intellectual ability of using a tool that requires limited thinking to do whatever you want that tool to do. To do whatever you want that tool to do. Is there anything we can do about it? Very little at the moment. Because in every competition, you want to win. If you don't adapt, you will lose. It's brutal, but it's the truth. So then what constitutes the media? Give you an example. If you have a fire, you'll have 500 reporters. Because everyone with the instrument to disseminate information is a reporter on that site, is delivering a message with commentary. And then everyone who add a comment on that image that is coming out is part of the reporting mechanism. So it's not only the speed and of the dispatch of the information, but it's the speed in the opinion making and translation that is added into this equation. Used for the right purposes, vitally important. Used for the wrong purposes, destructive in every way, shape, and form. So, this battle as to who constitutes the embodiment of the media is a key issue. And many times people point to politicians and say, oh, you guys are utilizing this tactic or that tactic. And this is globally. None can escape this question. But can you survive if you don't adopt? These are key questions. Mind-boggling questions. So, how do we ensure in this environment of AI that we pursue a path, and for CARICOM, I'm positioning this morning that we pursue a common path, because we don't have the capacity individually to do this. That would look at the intellectual and professional conduct of AI, that would look at the challenges, threats, and opportunities of AI, that would look at policies, regulations, and legislations that would ensure AI does not go unchecked. If we don't do it, it's a ticking time bomb. If we don't ensure that AI is utilized, especially when it comes to the press and information dissemination, because information is so powerful that it can destabilize instantaneously with little time to respond. It can destabilize instantaneously with very little time to respond. And then also, as media personnel, you also have to be aware of the changing environment. We have different type of leaders emerging globally with different style, different preference, and different priorities. The way leaders choose to disseminate information is completely different from traditional ways. Many leaders today would engage the media in public, would engage the media in an environment where there are other contributors to the discussion. Because leaders realize that there is power behind every instrument. And if you want your message not to be distorted, you have to maximize the potential of the power behind every instrument, so that your message is not distorted. So media personnel will be operating in different environments as the future evolves. In my humble opinion, the historic and traditional press conferences and press media room is changing rapidly, because everyone understands the changing nature of information dissemination, of information access, of information availability. So, some other questions that we must consider. What is the truth, and who communicates the truth? What are facts? Does facts even have a role to play anymore in this race for information? Does science even have a role anymore? We have to answer these questions, because if the media itself, or if I'm not going to use the word media again, if information disseminators themselves are not relying on facts and science and those things, they're more interested in that reach and impact and getting there first, then certain things will be sacrificed. And what we are seeing globally is the most important aspects of fair and ethical reporting is sacrificed. Not only here, all over the world. This is the truth. So, what constitutes our duty? Information versus facts versus news. Big difference. Historically, news was based on information and facts. Today, there is a clear difference. There is a clear difference in what is news. All of you, when you went to university or even any media training, the first thing they tell you, what is a headline? Dog bite man or man bite dog? That example is given because everyone wants to race to capture the attention of people faster than the other. AI and digitization, we as a country must have, within the next 12 months, a clearly defined framework for AI and digitization in every sphere of national life, every sphere of public life, because it is going to drive national and public life in ways that we have seen never before. The other questions are we after facts-driven news, opinion-driven news, or preference-driven news? Three important things in the world today. Facts-driven news, preference-driven news, or personal opinion-driven news. And it comes to personal opinion because the bulk of information disseminators are individuals. And most times, the better they are and the wider they reach, the higher is their pay. Uncomfortable truth, eh? Now, for the public sector, and I dare say the private sector, we must now agree that we have to have a strategy, and that is why I said in the police force, there will be reform in every sphere, not only police, fire, everybody. Because in your communication in your strategy, you have to have an information strategy, a news strategy, and a communication strategy. The communication strategy must have crisis communication and crisis management as part of it. These are some thoughts I wanted to share to stimulate our thinking on this very important day when you exercise your minds on the profession that you serve and love so dearly. So my dear friends, World Press Freedom is a day that holds profound significance, not only for our nation, but for democracies around the world. This day serves as a reminder of the crucial role that free, independent, and pluralistic media plays in ensuring transparency, accountability, and upholding human rights. As we gathered here this morning, I ask that we reflect on the vital importance of freedom of expression and the fundamental rights that underpin our democracy. In Guyana, freedom of expression, including the freedom of the press, is enshrined in our Constitution. It is a cornerstone of our democracy, society, and a fundamental human right that allows our citizens to speak freely, to access information, and to engage in public discourse without fear or reprisal. But I want us to pause here. This was enshrined in our Constitution at a time when digitization and AI was not there. That is why in the reform process, we will have to pay attention to these new areas, ensuring, because remember, when you look at the UK law, I was looking at a program just a few days ago. There is a higher degree of burden, might not be the best word at this time, that is placed on digital and AI news because that news reach faster, further, and quicker. So that there is greater responsibility on those that are disseminating that news because of the instantaneous nature of it and the speed and the reach. The burden of responsibility is different, and those are the things we have to look at. The best practices, wherever they exist, to be part of the reform. I stand before you today to affirm my government's unwavering commitment to this noble principle of press freedom. Over the past 4 years, our administration has consistently upheld this right. You've ensured that the media operates without censorship and within an environment that respects diversity of thought and opinion. This commitment is evident in our efforts to create a larger democratic space where journalists can investigate, report, and critique government actions without fear or favor. While there may be instances of news reporting that appears slanted or contains misrepresentations, we remain steadfast in our belief that a diverse media is essential, even when it challenges our narratives. Indeed, the presence of multiple voices speaks to the vitality of our democracy, a signal that press freedom is alive and well in Guyana. However, we must acknowledge that as with any freedom comes the duty of responsibility. This responsibility is twofold. It lies both with the media as purveyors of information and with the consumers of that information. So it's not only about the media, it's about the responsibility of the consumer of information. The media must strive for fairness, balance, and commitment to the truth in all reporting. It is imperative that journalism does not descend into sensationalism or partisanship, that it remains anchored in the principles of professionalism and objectivity. It is also important to remember that despite our commitment to press freedom, there are forces at work that wish to exploit this freedom for narrow, selfish, and often malicious ends. The press must be vigilant against becoming a tool for the perversion or distortion of news. As custodians of public discourse, we must recognize our duty to contribute positively to the social fabric of our nation, to promote understanding, inclusivity, and respect, and to avoid propelling division, incitement, and hate. Very important as part of your ethical responsibility. The vibrancy of our media associations and leadership must also have a vibrant, democratic, and open process, where all media workers feel a part of the collective whole. You must also now contemplate whether the narrow original confines of who are members must now be redefined to include the broader disseminators of information so that they can also be part of a responsible system, that they can also be checked in what they do within your own association. Not doing this is not also adapting to the changing realities of our country and the world. To our local media, I extend my heartfelt best wishes on this important day. You play a crucial role in shaping public opinion, guiding conversations, and holding power accountable. This is an important year. I expect you to report fairly, honestly, openly on our elections. Very important. I expect our population, the consumers of the information reported on, to be responsible. The responsibility you bear is immense, and it is vital that you take it seriously. Engage in rigorous fact-checking, pursue balanced reporting, and dedicate yourselves to the ethics of journalism. In doing so, you will not only uphold the dignity of your profession, but you will also contribute to building a more informed and cohesive society. Let us not allow ourselves to be drawn into dangerous waters of partisan narratives or malicious entrapments. Instead, let us elevate our discourse, letting facts be our guiding stars and our commitment to the truth as our compass. The role of the media in educating and enlightening our public cannot be overstated. When media organizations prioritize integrity and accountability, they become vital allies in our shared mission for progress and shared prosperity. In closing, let us recommit ourselves to safeguarding the freedoms we cherish and to ensuring that they are employed responsibly. The pursuit of truth must remain our highest priority. Let us engage in constructive dialogues and foster a culture of respect and understanding in our society. On this World Press Freedom Day, I urge every journalist in Guyana to hold fast to these principles and to do their job with integrity, courage, and professionalism. Together, let us champion the ideals of press freedom. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, all, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, Prime Minister Mark Phillips, colleague ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, our media operatives, journalists, and other media workers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, guests, good morning again. Let me begin by expressing sincere appreciation to His Excellency President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali for graciously hosting us here this morning and for his unwavering leadership in strengthening our democratic institutions and ensuring that press freedom remains not just a constitutional right, but also a livable reality as we experience it here in Guyana. Today we join with the rest of the world in this solemn recognition of World Press Freedom Day 2025. It is a moment of both celebration and serious reflections. The global theme this year, reporting in the brave new world, the impact of artificial intelligence on press freedom and the media, reminds us that the very foundations of journalism are evolving and not without risk. Artificial intelligence offers journalists powerful tools for research, storytelling, and audience reach. But it also enables disinformation to spread with terrifying ease. Fake news and the AI-generated deception now flood the same spaces where once only verified news had a voice. Here in Guyana, we are not immune. We have seen a rise in misinformation, sometimes born out of error, but increasingly born of intent. Sadly, there are corners that some in the local fraternity have moved away from the high calling of their profession, engaging in narratives that are not only unethical but deliberately divisive. It is in this context that we must urgently realign the foundational values of the Fourth Estate. I take this opportunity to recognize UNESCO, the UN's leading voice on the protection of press freedom, for its enduring global leadership in defending journalists and preserving the principles of free, independent, and pluralistic media. UNESCO's tireless efforts have kept the conversation and press freedom alive across regions and regimes, and we thank them for continuing to be a shield for those whose pens are used as genuine tools of promoting truth and amplifying voices fairly without fear or favor. Here in Guyana, under the leadership of the People's Progressive Party Civic and our President, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, we remain firmly, absolutely firmly committed to the protection of press freedom, not in words, but by our deeds, our actions we've demonstrated over and over. We have ensured that the conditions exist for media to operate freely, critically, and independently. Likewise, we also insist that with the freedom must come responsibility. Responsibility to the truth, to the ethics, and to the people of this nation. And now, more than ever, we must also demand responsibility in the use of artificial intelligence. Will we use this technology to enlighten or to deceive? Will we use it to elevate the nation's discourse or to plunge us into deeper polarization? These are important questions, and our journalists also have a role to play in the design of our society in terms of how we evolve and the type of information shared and the manner in which we're able to lift ourselves to higher standards by disclosing and by discussing matters that will bring us to the higher levels of operation as a society. The question must be answered not only by governments, but by you too, all of you, the media fraternity. What you amplify, how you verify, and whether you are guided by facts or by fiction, these choices matter now more than ever before. As we reflect on our own national journey, we also look outward with heavy hearts. Around the world, dozens of journalists have died this past year in war zones, in detention, and at the hands of regimes that fear the truth. These men and women were not merely casualties of conflict, they were guardians of public trust. Today, we honor their memories and pledge to continue the work for which they give their lives through our governance continuum and Guyana's distinguished membership in the Media Freedom Coalition and other regional and international groupings. In Guyana, we have no such cases where our journalists are harmed based on what they report, and sometimes it's not always the reports that align itself with truth and the reality. But you will never find us at any time in our history or in the future as the People's Progressive Party civic government harming our government, our journalists, because of what they report. We embrace the freedom, we celebrate the freedom with our journalists, and we look forward always to working with them, but also for us to all maintain responsible behavior. To all the journalists and media workers in Guyana, those who have walked the beat, told our stories, and held power to account, ethically and professionally, we thank you sincerely and very much for your role, and therefore your profession is vital and your courage is necessary. Your ethics are non-negotiable. On this World Press Freedom Day, let us recommit to a media landscape that is free, but also fair, open, but also honest. And let us do so not just as professionals, but as citizens as well, who believe in the power of truth to build a better nation. Let us move forward together with courage. With our conscience, we can all work together to build and to ensure that our country gets to the place that we all desire as Guyanese working hand in hand. Thank you and happy World Press Freedom Day to all our media workers here in Guyana and abroad. Thank you.
President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, esteemed members of the media fraternity, distinguished guests, good morning. I'm Abina Rockcliffe, as she said. Please allow me to adopt the protocol so eloquently established by our chairwoman. Today, as we gathered in celebration of World Press Freedom Day, yes, pick up this piece. We are reminded of the essential role that journalists play in safeguarding democracy, shaping public discourse, and holding power to account. Under the leadership of the Honorable Kwame McCoy, Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister, the Department of Information and Public Affairs has made it a tradition to pay a tribute to those media professionals who have dedicated their lives to this noble craft, many of whom have since retired, but whose legacy endures. Our Lifetime Achievement Award remains a hallmark of this commemoration. This year, we are proud to elevate the recognition further. It gives me great pleasure to announce the introduction of a new honor, the Excellence in Media Award. This category seeks to spotlight and celebrate the outstanding contributions of those who are presently serving in the profession, whose voices, images, and reporting continue to shape Guyana's information ecosystem with integrity, passion, and professionalism. Ladies and gentlemen, our first recipient of the Excellence in Media Award embodies the spirit of dedication, innovation, and quiet strength. She entered the media profession through an attachment program at the National Communications Network, embracing every opportunity with humility and drive. Over the years, she has risen through the ranks, from a studio operator to now holding the position of senior operator in the studio department. In a field where women are often underrepresented, particularly in technical roles, she has established herself as a pillar of reliability and excellence. Her work is largely behind the scenes, yet its impact is deeply felt, especially during those live outside broadcasts that reach audiences across the country. Her shift is marked by order, precision, and efficiency, and she is known for her ability to troubleshoot in real time, to think ahead, and to embrace innovative solutions that uplift her department's performance. Her commitment to excellence is not performative. It is practiced daily, quietly, and consistently. And so today, it is our honor to recognize the contributions to the industry and to celebrate her journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the first recipient of the 2025 Excellence in Media Award, Ms. Zanella Marks.
I am truly honored to receive the Excellence in Media Award Award for television broadcasting from the Department of Information and Public Affairs in the Office of the Prime Minister. This recognition is not just a personal achievement, but it also reflects the hard work and dedication of my incredible teammates. Together, we strive for professionalism and to connect with our audience. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the award committee, my colleagues, family, and friends for their unwavering support. This award inspires me to continue working hard. Once again, I thank you for this honor.
Invite Ms. Jean Camus, UN Resident Coordinator. Assisting with the distribution of the award is Kurt Campbell, who also went to the Fashion Festival. Thank you very much, Ms. Camus, and congratulations, Ms. Marks. It is my distinct honor to introduce our second recipient, a seasoned journalist with over 2 decades of experience. As the editor-in-chief of Guyana Times, Evening News, and iNews, she leads the editorial direction and management of the Times media conglomerate. A graduate of the University of Guyana with a Bachelor's of Law degree, she furthered her studies in developmental journalism at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. Her career, which began in 2003, spans a broad range of senior roles, showcasing her excellence in parliamentary, environmental, agricultural, political, and presidential reporting, as well as newsroom leadership. She is also the recipient of the Conservation International Biodiversity Reporting Award. Currently, she is pursuing a master's in law through the government's Gold Scholarship Program. Beyond her professional achievements, she is a dedicated member of her faith community, contributing as co-chair of the social media ministry and a former vestry member of St. Sidwell's Anglican Church. Today, we celebrate her remarkable contributions to journalism and her significant role in advancing responsible and informed media in Guyana. Please help me introduce Ms. Tasika Martin, recipient of the 2025 Excellence in Media Award.
I'm earnestly honored to accept this award from the Government of Guyana on this World Press Freedom Day 2025. When I embarked on my media journey in 2003, as a young person stepping into the demanding world of journalism, I could not have foreseen how deeply this vocation would have captured my heart. My initial entry through a work-study program around the year 2000 at the then Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, now NCN, was not driven by the lure of accolades and benefits or material rewards. Rather, it was a calling, a quiet pull towards truth and service. With each passing year, that calling deepened into a passion, and what was once merely a profession has now become an inseparable part of my identity. There is no greater fulfillment than witnessing the tangible impact of a story, seeing the words on page ignite change in people's lives. Today, as editor-in-chief, the privilege of directing such narratives is both humbling and exhilarating. Ours is a profession marked by relentless demands, long hours, and a ceaseless pursuit of truth, while upholding at the same time ethical standards. Apart from God and my family, my deepest loves are media and the law, pillars that fuel my commitment to this job. This year's theme, Reporting in the Brave New World, the Impact of Artificial Intelligence in Press Freedom and Media, calls us to join with AI, not as a shortcut, but as a tool to enhance our craft. always vigilant in preserving the core freedoms that define our work. As Guyana surges forward in its rapid evolving economy, let us reaffirm the essential partnership between government and the media, one built on trust and mutual respect, in service for the greater good. I extend my deepest thanks to the government of Guyana for this recognition. It is an honor I hold with profound gratitude.
To hand over to Seeker's Award, I invite Minister McCoy. Oh, she also went to the Fashion Festival. Congratulations to Sika. Thank you, Minister. Our third recipient is a true radio prodigy whose journey into broadcasting began unexpectedly in his early teens. Born in Camarang, Region 7, and raised across various regions in Guyana, he was captivated by a visit to the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation, which sparked his passion for radio. At just 13 years old, he was invited by Lorraine Harris, Aunt Lorraine, to join the children's program Aunt Lorraine's Corner, where his exceptional general knowledge quickly made him a permanent fixture. Over the years, he has hosted numerous radio programs, live broadcasts, and state cultural and educational events. His voice became one of the most recognizable, comforting, and inspiring on national radio, with a career that spans Radio Roraima, Voice of Guyana, and 98.1 Hot FM. In addition to his broadcasting career, he is deeply committed to mentoring the next generation of broadcasters, especially in the hinterland communities of Guyana. He continues to work through the morning fuel on 93.1 Real FM and has dedicated his efforts to regional radio stations in Mabaruma, Oriella, Bartica, Madia, Latham, Aishalton, and Anai, as well as the Guyana Media and Communications Academy. Celebrating 30 years of service in broadcasting in 2025, his contribution to radio remains invaluable, and his legacy continues to inspire both listeners and aspiring broadcasters across the country. Any guess who it might be? Morano Isaacs.
I am deeply honored to receive the Excellence in Media Award presented by the Department of Information and Public Affairs and the Office of the Prime Minister. This recognition is a testament to the dedication and passion I have for radio broadcasting in Guyana. I am truly grateful for the opportunity to contribute to the media landscape, and I share this achievement with my colleagues, mentors, and the listeners who have supported me throughout my journey. As we observe World Press Freedom Day, let us continue to uphold the values of truth, integrity, and the vital role of media in fostering a free and informed society. Thank you once again for this incredible honor.
Prime Minister. Yes. Congratulations, Morano. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you to all the recipients of the Excellence in Media Award. Ladies and gentlemen, This brings me to the Lifetime Achievement Award. It is my distinct honor to present this award to a true pioneer in the field of broadcasting, whose remarkable career has spanned over 5 decades. Born on April 16, 1946, he embarked on his educational journey at Smith's Primary School and later at Queen's College, where he laid the foundation for a career that would have a profound impact on the media landscape in Guyana. He began his broadcasting career on August 1st, 1965, and has remained a steadfast figure in the industry ever since. Over the years, he has not only excelled as a broadcaster, but has also dedicated himself to training and mentoring the next generation of announcers and broadcasters. He conducted training programs, including a notable session in 1984 at ZDK in Antigua, and continues to mentor and guide broadcasters, ensuring the highest standard in the industry. A visionary in the arts, he became the artistic director of Maroondai, a radio serial drama at its inception 16 years ago, leaving a lasting legacy in Guyana's cultural media. In 1981, I wasn't born yet still, he founded the theater company, which has since been instrumental in nurturing local talent and promoting the arts. In addition to his professional accomplishments, he has been an active community leader, serving as the past president of the Rotary Club of Georgetown Central, vice president of the Scout Association of Guyana, and a director of the Volunteer Youth Corps. His tireless work has left a lasting impact, not only in broadcasting, but also in community development. On a personal note, he is a proud father of 2, grandfather of 6, and great-grandfather of 7, showing that his legacy extends far beyond his professional achievements. Today, we honor his extraordinary contributions to media, arts, and community, and we express our deepest gratitude for the immense impact he has made. Ronald Ron Robinson, your dedication... Okay. Your dedication, leadership, and passion are truly deserving of this recognition. Congratulations on your exceptional achievements.
When your country or major organization such as bestows on you an honor as prestigious as a Lifetime Achievement Award, you're humbled. It is indeed with humility that I accept this award. It may be said that I have been in this field of broadcasting and the press for a long time, and I admit that 60 years may seem long to many. But I say it has been 6 decades of my life that have been filled with a career driven by a passion to be nothing but the best. A career filled with its ups and downs and many challenges, but one that I have thoroughly enjoyed and which has been a catalyst for many other aspects of my life, such as being responsible, disciplined, and creative. I hope that I have been the catalyst for others to set high goals which they continuously strive to achieve. Broadcasting has afforded me the opportunity to meet a wide cross-section of notable Guyanese, such as presidents, ministers of both government and religion, and world-renowned figures who visited and performed in Guyana, such as Stevie Wonder and Mahalia Jackson, and others such as Louis Farrakhan and Jim Jones himself, to name a few. Moments I can never forget. In accepting this award, I must acknowledge the assistance I received from great broadcasters such as Rafi Khan, Pat Cameron, Vickinson Ali, Ray Robinson, and Hugh Chumley, all of whom were giants and guides to any young broadcaster who was willing to accept advice and criticism and thus gain invaluable experience from their knowledge and expertise. The 60 years have included interviewing, and there is one person I can never forget, and he was the chief grave digger at Le Repentir Cemetery, believe it or not, who was known as Bishop Brown, because, as he told me, he knew the prayers for all the religions and would recite them if the officiant did not turn up for the funeral. But what made him even more memorable is when he told me that he is not the chief grave digger, but the supervisor of burial engineers. So my broadcasting life has given me a variety of memories that are forever etched in my mind by a variety of persons. I'm thankful to Almighty God for the gift of my voice and talents, for the honor bestowed by my beloved country. I pray my Heavenly Father will bestow on Guyana His blessings as we move into a promising future for all Guyanese. This future is dependent to a great extent on the inputs and efforts of good media personnel. And we certainly have these, but they must be allowed to inquire and report without bias or affiliation. Once again, I humbly accept the award, and I am truly honored. Thank you, and God bless.
And see.